Can you hear the music? No? Ah, I'm the only one dancing over here. Let's see if this works. Let me try again. You know, I always have to have a little something to invite us all in. Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome, Henrietta. Welcome, Carla. Diane. Oh, it's jumping around. Okay. Roberta, Nicole, Jonathan, Carlita, Isabel, Lori, Joe, Ellie, Karen, Patches, Jamie. Oh my goodness. Wow, 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 wow. I'm so Brigitte made it. Yay. We have people, Heidi, hello. People zooming in from all over the world. What a treat. What an honor and a pleasure to be with you all this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whatever it might be where you are in the world. So we're going to just take another minute or two just to wait for a few more, if anyone else might be tuning in last minute live, just to give a little bit more space, and then we'll get started. But before we dive into this really fun hour that I hope that I have planned for you, why don't you write in the chat box one word about how you're feeling right now, and whatever that might be, whether it's excited or you're healing something, whatever it might be, and maybe where you're tuning in from in the world. It's just a nice way for us to start to connect and in this beautiful global community. Hello, Karen. Oh my goodness, I'm seeing some people I haven't seen in so long. We have Joyful from New Jersey. We have Curious, Julie from New York. Oh, you're in Queens. Yay. Jonathan is grateful. Isabella. Oh, is this Isabella from Italy? Oh my goodness. I'm so happy to see your name here. Fresh in LA. Peaceful in Germany. Henrietta's excited in the Netherlands. So this is what makes me so excited about the power of connecting. Tired in Cincinnati. I love it. Feeling calm in Arizona, about being able to come together in these ways that it may not be possible for us to ever be together in person in this way. And we can see how we can really connect across all borders, all time zones, and have real connected time together that is impactful. So thank you so much. We have Joyful in Riverside, California. We're waking up in Las Vegas. I feel like that's a song, Waking Up in Las Vegas. Sorry, you probably don't want me to sing. And I'm just flipping through over to the second screen. Oh, we have Lizzie here. Hi, Lizzie. Recognizing many names that were with me last year in our 7 months of chakra rituals, and even some of you that already did the 7 weeks, which is super exciting, and many new faces as well. All right. Let me just, I have all my beverages here. I have one more sip of water, and then we're gonna just dive on in. Good morning, Monica from the rain. Where is it raining? Ah, Corto Madeira. Is that how you say it? Corto Madeira. Beautiful.
What are you doing upstairs? Okay.
And if you
bless you. Could you make me a beefsteak biscuit?
If you've accidentally come off mute, just go ahead and mute yourself. Hello, Miss Gwen. You made it. I saw that you just signed up, so I'm glad that you were able to get the link. All right. So can you all see my screen, or do you just see me? Just oops, I don't know what just happened.
Just see you, no screen.
Okay, thank you. I'm definitely having some Mercury moments right now, but that's okay. There is just one thing I want to show you because it's really beautiful. So patience with me one moment. Stop the share and let me try again. And thank you. You all are my tech people today, by the way. All right. You can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. And let me, okay, great. So welcome to this webinar called Chakra Rituals, the power of daily ritual to transform your life, and the power of ritual, the power of practice, the power of connecting into self, the power of connecting and hooking up with spirit, with source energy, with the frequencies of trust and love, and whatever name you might have for this source and force. So we're going to begin today. And once again, if you could just check and make sure you're muted, that will just help with the integrity of the recording for everyone that is watching the replay later. Thank you so much. The way today is going to unfold is I'm going to just share a little bit of my story and a little bit about why I'm so passionate about the chakra system, why I'm so passionate about ritual, why I'm so passionate about what I do. And the reason I'm going to do that is because the times I choose to skip over that part, everyone asks me these questions. Everyone asks me these questions. Wait, we want to know more about you and more about your journey. Once again, could everyone please just take one moment to just check and make sure you're on mute? That would be super helpful.
That connected.
I'm not able to mute everybody. I'm not able to do a universal mute. So if you could just take one moment to do that, I'll just pause for a second. I'll take a sip of water. Thank you. And from there, I'm going to give you a brief introduction. We don't have a ton of time today, but I'm going to share as much as I can. I'm going to give you a brief introduction into the chakra system. I'm going to give you a brief introduction into the power of ritual. And I'm going to share with you 3 of my daily ritual practices that a day does not go by that I do not do these 3 rituals. And then we'll close with something very special that I have to offer you all. So if you guys are wanting more, if you're wanting to deepen this journey, I've got you. And but we have to stay to the end to get that. And just to also note, this replay will go out later today and you will have access to it for a full week through Monday of next week. So if you can't stay the whole time, no problem, you'll have it. You can watch it later. If you want to go back to any of this material, go back to the rituals, you absolutely can. Okay, sound good? All right. So this is what I wanted to begin with. This is from one of my most favorite beloved texts called the Radiant Sutras that one of my teachers and mentors did a translation of this tantric text called the Vijnana Bhavana, Tantra. And it's a poetic translation that is just living, breathing poetry. And this verse to me really speaks to what I feel and sense and see ritual as. So we could exchange this word worship with ritual as well. They could be interchanged, we could say here. So I'm just going to read it to you. You might close your eyes and just really let it permeate through you. Worship doesn't mean offering flowers. It means offering your heart to the vast mystery of the universe. It means letting your heart pulse with the life of the universe, without thought and without reservation. It means being in love. Worship, ritual does not mean offering flowers. It means offering your heart. It means being in love. Just take a really nice, deep, full, rich breath in. Maybe even take your hands to the center of your chest and then exhaling it out. And then here's little Christy. Do I look the same? For those of you that wonder if I am really a redhead, you can see now that I am. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a moment, just because you don't need to be staring at pictures of little me, but just wanted to give you some context here. So I was on stage dancing, as you can see from those photos, pretty much by the time that I could walk. Dancing turned to gymnastics, which then turned to platform diving. At age 15, I moved away from home to chase my dream of going to the Olympics. And it was there that I trained with members of the US and the Russian Olympic teams. When I was 24, I suffered a devastating injury, which I broke my back. And doctors told me that by the time I was 30, I'd be walking with a cane. So needless to say, that ended my Olympic pursuit completely. I'm also a survivor of multi-generational abuse that started when I was a very little girl. I suffered from a severe eating disorder for well over a decade that probably should have taken my life. I've dealt with bouts of debilitating PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And somehow, by the grace of some god, some goddess, this all led me to the yoga mat. And it was there that I started to heal, not only my physical body, but heal my connection to my body and how I felt about my body. It is here that I discovered the gift of what it was to be embodied and the power of the chakra system. I've been on a healing and an empowerment journey for the last 20 years, and it has had many, many twists and turns. It has been a journey of awakening, of remembering who I am, and taking responsibility for my life and my well-being. Now, simultaneously during this time, I also helped run a national wellness brand called Exhale Mind Body Spa. I sat at the helm of one of the most successful yoga studios in the US, and I traveled the world teaching meditation, yoga, the work of the chakras in dance in over 20 countries around the globe. And just last year, I released my first book, Chakra Rituals. Now, I don't share any part of this story to brag. I don't share any part of this story to ask for your sympathy. I only share this story, my story, because we all have trauma. We all have suffered and we all have endured heartbreak and devastation. It is part of this human experience. And as my teacher, Brenda Rose, which some of you know, says, it's part of Earth School. And that our purpose here in Earth School is to grow and evolve. And we're all given these different ways to grow and evolve our soul. But what I had to remember, or what we can choose to remember, is that we're not defined by our trauma. And just because I have it or you have it, it doesn't also mean that you can't live a life of purpose, that you can't live a life of impact, that you can't live a life of love and a life of joy. And I have to say, that's one of the greatest gifts that the chakra system really gave me, this understanding and this knowing that I am, you are not, we are not just one thing, and nor should we try to be, but we are multi-dimensional beings. We're multi-dimensional beings. We're colorful, we're wild, we're grounded yet cosmically divine. And that our bodies have an intelligence in every cell that is working right now to heal us. That is working right now to heal us. We have the capacity to hold so much, both the joy and the terror of what it is to be alive. Because to wake up and be fully alive can be terrifying. But we can choose to live and to take action, and we can hold it all. It's not one or the other. Now, the last thing I want to really be clear about is I am not claiming that the chakra system alone and ritual alone and my practices alone are what has been my healing journey. And I'm still on the healing journey, and I'm sure I'm going to be on this healing journey for lifetimes to come. I am still in therapy today, thank goddess, and I have beautiful mentors and guides that I still work with on a very regular basis. But what I can say with certainty, that the chakra system is an evolutionary map for our awakening, our transformation, and our healing. And it has transformed every aspect of my life, and it continues to do so again and again and again. It is the only map that I know of, I am sure there are others, that is a map of true wellness, of true happiness, because it addresses the whole. It addresses the whole, the physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual. It casts nothing out. It leaves nothing out. It takes into consideration the knowingness that we are multi-dimensional beings. And to me, this is the example, or I am an example, and we are all examples of the resiliency of the human spirit. And no matter what age we are, that we have the ability to continue to wake up and to continue to heal and to live the life that our soul came here to live. So for me, the chakra system, it empowers us, and ritual empowers us to be conscious co-creators of our life. It awakens the power of choice, that power of responsibility, because no one's going to do it for us. No one's going to heal for us. We can align with the divine and we can pray, but we still have to take action. And that's what the chakra system calls for us to take action, to get to know ourselves, to grow ourselves, to build the most intimate connection with who we are, to heal those connections that have been lost between us and divinity, between us and the earth, and to awaken it all. So whether this word chakra is new to you or not, I just want you to know, hopefully there's going to be something here for everyone. If it's new, I got you. If you've been with me before, if you've studied the chakras from other people and other perspectives, awesome. It's always good to review. And I might also be offering something from a slightly different vantage point that might support your journey of awakening and healing in some way. So I'm going to reshare my screen just to, I think it might be supportive. Can you see? Henrietta, I can see you. You're the one box on my screen. Thank you so much. So here we have this word chakra, and you can practice saying it's a chakra, not a chakra. So I want you to delineate the difference there. The cha is really this power. The cha is the wheel, this spinning disc of energy, of power, of consciousness. We can think of the chakras as, in these different ways that I have listed here, as gems of intelligence. And I like to think of them as gems, as these jewels, these brilliant jewels. Each of them is a beautiful color that is mapped on the colors of the rainbow. And each one holds its own intelligence, its own consciousness. Another way we can think about the chakras is as organs of the energy body. Just like our heart is an organ of our physical body, right? Our lungs are an organ of our physical body. Our chakras are the organs of our subtle body, subtle being that inner, most delicate, most refined sense of ourselves, the most inner sense of who we are. We can also think of the chakras as doorways into the divine, that each of these 7 centers, that each one can take us into divinity, take us into connection with the highest grace. And then they're also portals into deeper and deeper levels of our own embodiment. And that's one of the things that's super interesting about the chakras is they're not asking you to transcend the body. They're asking you to be here in the body, to be with it all, to be with the emotions, to be with your sensuality, to be with real life, to be in your abundance, to be in your security, and also expand into liberation and freedom. And one more time, I'm just going to ask if everyone can just take a quick check and make sure you're on mute. That would be really helpful for, again, the recording. Sorry if I sound like a broken record. Now, I have a thing for taking words and making more words out of it. It does have a name, and I guess I should learn what that is, but I don't know what it is. But when I was trying to really be like, okay, like a chakra is a wheel of power, of energy, of consciousness, but what are they? They're these organs of the energy body, but what do they help us do? So this is how this was a way that I share in my book that I thought might be helpful. So the C of chakra is they help us connect. They help us connect our inner and outer worlds. They serve as a bridge between our inner and our outer worlds. The H is for honor. They honor all of who we are and all of what we are made up of, the earth, the water, the fire, the air, the space, all the sacred elements. Nothing is cast out or denied. They help us awaken consciousness at these 7 distinct levels. The K is for kindle. They kindle the fires of transformation that call us forth to take action, right? To take action, that's the piece that so often we're missing. We ignite the flames that call us forth to do something. The R for restore. They restore our sense of wholeness, right? This is a map of integration, of coming home to this most whole, integrated place within us, which therefore stores our aliveness, that of what it is to be alive. And then the A is they align. They align us with the earth, the magic, the medicine of the earth, the stability of the earth, the groundedness of the earth, and the magic and the mystery of the stars, but all through the sacred vessel of our body. That our body is the conduit that connects the roots to the sky, the earth to the heavens. It gives us both roots and wings. And this is really where we ignite and how we ignite magic. And then this is just a drawing that also does come from my book to give you kind of an idea of where they're placed in the energetic body, or how they're mapped onto our physical body. And the system that I'm sharing from, there's 7 main chakras in the body. There are other systems that say there are 5, or there's 14, or there's 28, and so on and so forth. And none of us are wrong, right? They're just different systems and different philosophies, so to speak. So I'm sharing from what I've learned from my teachers and from my own embodied practice and my own investigation over these last almost 2 decades. So a couple more things I want to share about the chakras before we come into our first practice is we notice here from the picture that they are vertically stacked, right? They're vertically stacked from the root of the pelvis, and you can see the roots growing down all the way up to the crown of the head. And what is really important to note is that there's no hierarchy amongst them, right? I want to say that again, that there's no hierarchy amongst them, meaning that your root chakra is not better than your third eye chakra, that your crown chakra is not better than your heart chakra. Everyone always says to me, well, what's the most important chakra? You know, and they're all equally important. Each one is a doorway into the divine. Each one is a portal into your embodiment at a different level. So we want to work and honor the whole system, and we'll work with them in a strategic way so that you can build that intimate relationship with them. And as you build the relationship, you'll be able to tune in and say, oh, which one do I need to work on today? Which ritual practices are going to feed and support and empower my life today, if that makes sense, okay? So what I want you to remember is that each chakra holds its own intelligence, right? It is responsible and governs over different parts of our physical body. It governs over different parts of our physical body. It governs over different gland, a different endocrine gland in the body, right? They also govern over different aspects of our psychology, of our mental health and our well-being, and even different aspects of our spiritual connection and evolution. Okay, so each one has this pre-programmed set of responsibilities, so to speak. One of my teachers actually calls them little brains, that each of them is a little brain and it has its own intelligence that's impacting. Again, we're dealing with mind, body, heart, spirit, right? All aspects of ourselves woven together in each chakra. So I'm just gonna check my time. Quick little run through, right? We start at the root of the pelvis, right? The home of our first chakra, our root chakra, our earth chakra. It typically vibrates to this beautiful ruby red color. It's associated with the element of earth. This is our physical body. This is our physical health. This is our physical well-being. This is everything that we are rooted and connected to. It's the roots of our families, our family of origin, our family of choice. It's the roots of our body, the roots of our embodiment. It's even those first roots of our own, of our swadharma, of what it is we are here to do. But we begin by coming home to the body, coming home to that which we can touch and we can feel, to feel safe and secure, to take care of our basic needs and our survival. Our second center, located at the sacral area, or low belly, lower back. One thing to note is that our chakras are said to be run at the deepest core of our body, but they're not just to the front, they open to the front and the back. So just keep that in mind as you're imagining these centers inside of you. They're opening, they're beautiful lotus flowers, blossoming open to the front and the back. Okay, the second center, low belly, low back, a beautiful sunset orange, the water chakra. This is the element of water, and it invites in flow and feeling. This is really our emotional intelligence. that we remember and we recognize that every emotion is medicine, that we want to expand our bandwidth to how much we can feel, right? And be able to allow the emotions to flow through us and emote out, right? This is also the birthplace of our desire, of our joy, of what brings us pleasure, of our sensuality and sacred sexuality. Now, moving up to the solar plexus, the space between the sternum and the navel, this is our fire chakra, our power chakra, which is the flames of transformation. This is the power of I will. This is the power of I can. This is the power of I say yes to my life. This is the sacred center that helps us burn through the illusion of our unworthiness, that we remember our confidence, our courage, our esteem, and that we have the ability to transform again and again and again. And we can strengthen our esteem and remember the brilliance of who we are and shine bright like a diamond. The color here is the gold, like the sun. We can also think of this as the sun of our being. And then moving up to the heart, if you want to take your hands to these areas of the body as we go through them, you're welcome to, just to bring your attention and energy there. The fourth center is the heart chakra, which vibrates to a beautiful emerald green color. This is the chakra of love in all its forms. And if you notice, it's the center of the whole system. 3 chakras below and 3 chakras above. This is where we have the divine marriage between Shiva and Shakti, the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine, where spirit and matter merge together into one, and healing and expansiveness is possible. The heart chakra is a place of forgiveness and compassion and of love, but most of all, love in like I said, all forms, but most of all, like the key really of unlocking the heart is the love of our own heart. The love of our own heart, right? We hear this over and over again, that we can't truly love another until we love ourselves, but it is true. That healing and full embrace of who you are and loving every piece of you and no longer casting out any part of you. The mantra of I love. Moving up to the center of the throat, our 5th center, our throat chakra. This is the chakra of how we communicate, how we use our voice, how we express ourselves uniquely. So it's also how we listen, how we hear, both sides of communication. It is here that we want to come into purity and expression. We want to purify the poisons of our swallowed words that we haven't been able to speak. We want to purify the poisons of the lies that we've spoken to ourselves again and again. We want to purify the poison of the lies that we've taken on as truths in our body, right? So we can reclaim the power of our voice, that power of our own unique sound vibration. It's also the power of our creativity, of that refined creativity. The color is blue, like the big sky blue. And then moving up to the 3rd eye, to the brow center. This is the center of imagination, of our dreams, where we imagine and reimagine, we vision and we envision the life we want to live, the life we want to create. It's also our intuition, our inner knowing, that inner guidance, that inner authority of our own knowing, that inner illumination that sometimes requires us to close down the 2 eyes. So our 3rd eye, which we often hear this chakra called, is the 3rd eye center, can see. So it's I see beyond the binary. I see beyond the black and white reality. I see outside the box. I see new possibilities. I see that nothing is impossible. And then moving up to the crown of the head, the crown jewel, as I like to call it, the Sahasrara Chakra. You can imagine this as 1,000 petaled lotus that sits on the crown of the head. And in yoga philosophy, 1,000 is the number for the infinite. So it represents this infinite unfolding of consciousness that is never ending, always expanding outward. And we're drinking in divine grace. We're drinking in cosmic intelligence. We're bringing spirit down into the body, and we remember we are not separate from. We are not separate from the energy of the cosmos. We are the energy of the cosmos, and that every cell of our body is blessed with this divine nectar, and there is nothing in this world that is not touched by this grace. You might take another big breath in and big breath out. So that might have been the quickest I've ever gone through the chakras. But I hope that was just helpful to give some context. What I'd like to do now is take us into our first practice, which is something I call the nourishing breath, or the 360-degree breath. So wherever you are, just find a grounded seat of support, or if you're standing, just ground your feet. And if you're driving, you can still participate, but just don't close your eyes, all right? So I'll explain it first. This 360-degree breath is that we breathe into the front, the sides, and the back of the body. We breathe into the whole cylinder of the rib cage. And this is important for many reasons. The first reason being, we are so front body oriented that we often forget that we have a back of a body. And from a physical standpoint, 60%, something like 60% of our lung tissue is actually in the back of the body. So when we don't learn to breathe into the back of the body, we're actually missing out on so much more, not only expansion of lung capacity, but so much more energy and prana and life force. And then all the impact that breathing deeply can have on our nervous system regulation. There's so many health benefits. On the physical level, we want to access this lung tissue in the back of the body. On the energetic level, as I briefly mentioned, the chakras open to the front and the back. So we want to make sure we're flooding the chakras with the life force, with the prana, by breathing in this way. And then last but not least, on the esoteric level, the back of the body represents the unconscious, the unseen. It represents what's in the shadows, the unknown. It also represents the magic and the mystery, all things that we are inviting in and we want to have access to. Remember, it's a return to wholeness, to integration, to full aliveness as we honor the whole of the self. So if breathing in the back body is new to you, my recommendation is for today, just focus on breathing into the back of the body. Don't even worry about the front of the body because it will happen naturally, okay? So we'll give it a try. So ground the pelvis, sit up nice and tall. The hands can rest on the knees or they can come to your heart, wherever feels good, supported to you. All right. Just exhale out any remaining breath in the body. And then inhaling through nose, think about filling the base of the sacrum, filling the kidneys, breathing all the way up into the back of the rib cage, breathing all the way up into the back of the heart. all the way to the top of the lungs. Hold it for a moment, and then you might sense the breath kind of wrapping around you to come into this bubble of prana, this bubble of love, this bubble of life. And then without strain, open the mouth and exhale it out slowly and sweetly. And we'll begin again. Inhaling, breathing into the low belly, low back, breathing into the front, the sides, the back of the rib cage, the front, the sides, the back of the heart. Hold it. And know the breath may not feel as big, but I promise it's that much deeper. Hold it. And then open the mouth and let it go. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Exhale all the way back down into the center of the earth. And again, inhaling nose, low belly, low back, front, sides, back of the rib cage, all the way in, front, sides, back of the heart, back of the lungs. Hold it for a moment. Open the mouth, let it go, exhale it out completely. Let's do it one final round together. Inhaling, low belly, low back. Inhaling through the whole of the rib cage. Inhale through the whole of the heart. Feel this 360-degree expanse. Feel this hug of prana, this hug of life, this hug of spirit, this hug of love. And then open the mouth and let it go. Get empty, 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 empty. And then just take a normal breath in and a normal breath out. And then the invitation for you is to practice this breath every day this week and just see what it does for you. See how it impacts your nervous system. See how it lands in your heart. See how it might support your life, and just start to pay attention. Because that's so much what this work is about, is paying attention to the subtle. Okay? All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to pull, my slides back on for a moment. Okay. And we'll come to the power of ritual. Ritual. So just like I did with the word chakra, I did with the word ritual. And so first and foremost, rituals help us remember. They help us remember who we are. They help us remember our connection to our own divinity. They help us remember the sacred. And when I'll just stop there for now. They help us remember. The difference between routine and ritual is done with intention, right? I wouldn't call brushing my teeth a ritual. That's part of my routine. It's part of my habit. It doesn't mean you can't make it a ritual. We can make anything a ritual, right? But it's the intention that we bring into something, the meaning and purpose in which we do something that makes it a ritual or not. And when that happens through the power of intention, the ritual becomes transformative, right? It becomes transformative through intention and through practice. By doing the ritual again and again and again, that kindling of the fires of transformation, right? That's where it becomes transformative, through that repetitive repetitious nature of it. Rituals help us understand. They bring understanding into our life. We get to know ourselves at this deeper level, right? They awaken us to the magic that we so often forget. They awaken us to the magic and the mystery of what it is to be alive and the miracles that are present in everyday life. That we're just through our busyness, because rituals slow us down, right? Through the busyness, so much gets obscured that is so powerful. And then most importantly, they bring us back to love, that frequency. And to me, love, it is that divine frequency, the divine love of what the love that is the pulse of the entire universe. Now, what this connection between chakras and rituals is many things that you may have heard some of these words already, but just like chakras serving as bridges connecting our inner outer worlds, ritual does the same thing. And this is one of my favorite definitions of sorry, I don't know why everything's being very sensitive right now, of ritual is intentional symbolic actions that heighten the importance, impact, and meaning of one's life. That the power of ritual, right? It's intentional symbolic action. So for me, that intentional breathing we just did, that 360-degree breath is a ritual, right? It also might be the way I lit this candle. It might be the way I burned the sage and the Palo Santo before, or how I do have my Mercury retrograde crystal here, but I need it to be supercharged up a little bit more, I think, right? Heightened symbolic actions that heighten the importance, impact, and meanings of one life. So what we're saying here is what we do matters, in the way in which we do it matters, right? Rituals are also the fuel for our inner and outer transformation. They help us return to the sacred, right? There's this sense of, you've got my email of it, we're starving for the sacred. It's that place when we've just become disconnected and we can't connect into anything and we feel like we're alone, right? Rituals return us to the sacred and we remember we are part of this greater whole of the universe. I mentioned magic already. And what I want to mention too about rituals, they do not have to be complicated, right? They can be so simple. We don't want a ritual to be a burden. We want the ritual to be a gift of something I get to do today versus what I have to do today. So the language in which we talk about it also affects the impact of what we're doing, okay? And then this idea of micro rituals, that it can be as small as the 4 breaths we just did. It can be as small as 1 breath. It can be as small as lighting your candle or doing 1 sun salutation. It's the intention, the purposefulness in which you do it that make it a ritual. So don't overcomplicate your life, right? You can do many rituals throughout the course of a day to keep anchoring you back in to yourself, to keep anchoring you back in to spirit, to source, to connection. And the last thing I wrote here is the power of ritual: slow and steady, sustainable, right? So the rituals slow us down. The steadiness is what I'm calling the repetition of, we do it again and again every day to see the impact that it can make. And when we do it in this way, that it's not overwhelming, that we have the support, it's slow and steady, it becomes sustainable. And then that sustainability, the ritual becomes self-care at this deepest level. It becomes self-care. And, I tend to talk more from the, because I'm dive deep into the esoteric nature and the spiritual nature of things. But I thought this was important to share, that there's so much science now also about the power of ritual. And it is exactly matching up to what the ancient yogis and the mystics have known all along, which is really amazing. So some of the science actually shows that rituals increase feelings of control and creativity. They regulate anxiety and emotions. They help us deal with the transitions of life, right? There's something we can anchor into, right? It provides us, it tethers us, right? So there's a steadiness, a support within us, no matter what other chaos is happening in our life, right? For any of you that are sports fans or played sports, there is a ton of rituals that happen in sports, and it actually is shown that it has and does enhance performance. Rituals motivate and bond people. If I know I'm doing the same ritual as Leah, or I'm doing the same ritual as Henrietta, or we're all working the same rituals together, there's a bonding that happens. There's a community that's built, even if we're not all doing them at the same time. It's just a support that it provides in a really beautiful way. They improve the quality of life. Like I said, they slow us down. And I thought this was super important, is rituals, it's a cure for distraction, right? The only cure for distraction is attention. So when we put our intention on our attention, right, that we get out of that, oh my gosh, being all over the place. And even if it's for those few breaths or those few minutes or whatever it might be, we can get centered, we can get calm, we can get activated in a way that is meaningful and powerful. And the last thing here that I'll say is they also, what I try to do is create rituals that engage the senses, right? So that it can be a full body experience. And that's so much what the chakra is about, is this full body activation. So you can play with your rituals in that way. So the daily rituals for empowerment that I speak about in length in my book and that I use, and again, anything can be ritual. This is just from the perspective of what I'm sharing that maps with the chakra system. As simple as creating sacred space in your home. You can see that I have this altar behind me that has flowers and candles and drums and deities. It's filled with things that hold meaning to me, right? You don't want a bunch of junk, right? You just to have there, you want to look at it and go, so whatever energy I'm trying to elicit, whatever energy I'm trying to bring more into my life, I have an outer depiction of it. So when I'm not carrying that energy, right, I can drop into it. I can see it and go, oh, return to your center, return to your center. Remember love, remember power, whatever it might be. I use mudras, the yoga of the hands, breath, like the nourishing breath that we just played with. Something I call body prayers. I created sun salutations for each of the chakras. So I can simply just do one of those, which is pure intention and connection. Meditation practices, journaling, writing contemplation, and writing reflection journaling. And then something else I call embodiment practices. So why don't we, I'm going to turn the screen off. Why don't we jump into our next practice real quick? And again, it's going to be a micro practice. And some of you have done it with me before. But again, the more we do it, we strengthen it. It just gets better and better. And this is another practice I do every day. So I start with the nourishing breath, like we just did. And then this practice is called dropping a grounding cord. So I'll guide us through it. Take your hands onto your knees for me, palms down, and just let your pelvis wiggle and waggle a little back and forth. Right? I just want you to bring your mind's eye into the sit bones, into the base of your pelvis. So we start to activate and enliven these tissues here, right? Our first chakra, our root chakra, if you're not sure where it is, you're sitting on it, right? It's the space between the sit bones known as your perineum. So just rocking back and forth, and you might feel this wave go all the way up to the crown of the head, and then this wave all the way back down. And then just let the waggle get a little gentler, a little more subtle, a little more subtle, a little more subtle. And then push down into the sit bones more. And again, notice what you feel. And then calling forth the powers of your imagination. Think about or visualize the trunk of your favorite tree growing down from the root of the pelvis, from this root chakra, down through the floorboards or whatever it is you're sitting on, down through the foundation of the building you're in, down into the sidewalk, down all the way into all the molten layers of the earth until it drills down, anchors down into the crystal core at the center of the earth. And once it's there, just feel it, this solidness, this solidity. And then you might even imagine more tendrils of support growing out in all directions from that root. And then can you push down into the root of support a little bit more and sit up a little bit taller, tone the belly, relax the shoulders. Soften in the eyes if they're not. And just feel what it feels like to be held by a body larger than you. Feel the support it provides. And then as you inhale, imagine breathing up these tendrils of support, breathing up through the grounding cord, up through the channels of the legs, up all the way into the base of the pelvis. You might even imagine the breath going all the way up, this energy of earth coming all the way up through the central nervous system, out through the crown of the head, and just enveloping you in a blanket of stability, of security, of nourishment in the exact form you need. And just allow that visual to run of drinking in up through your roots of support, the medicine that you need today. Name it for yourself. Let it move up. You might visualize that ruby red color. You might feel it as a warm ruby red moving up the legs, spinning this wheel of dynamic power and light up through the central nervous system, all the way up through the crown of the head. And notice that what that provides for you. Now, this grounding cord works in two ways. By feeding you, yes, but also helping you to let down and release. So keep these tree trunks, keep these tendrils set on release, and use them to release the anxiety in the body, to release the worry, to release the anticipation, to release anything that's keeping you from being able to be present, to be in the here and the now. Release it, release it, release it. Give it to this larger body of the earth. Let her recycle and renew it into a fresh energy that can serve you and serve as nourishment at a later time. Take another big breath in. And take a big breath out. And then I'm going to choose different words. Receive a deep breath in. So there's nothing to take. We just receive. And release the breath out. And just notice how that feels. You can blink the eyes open if they're closed. And that is the second thing. Every morning I begin my day, I wake up, I do 3 nourishing breaths. I do my grounding cord, and then I move into my other practices. And using the grounding cord is so useful at any time. If you're getting ready to have an important meeting and you know your energy tends to go up and out, and you need to feel yourself grounded, you need to feel yourself tethered to the earth, drop a grounding cord before a conversation, drop a grounding cord. If you're in a situation where you feel a little fearful or scared and you need that, right, to be able to hold yourself, to steady yourself in that way. Powerful, powerful, easy practices that can really support your life. So the invitation is to try that one every day too. Now we're just at the hour, but I have one more little practice to share, and then one little bonus to share to share with you of where we're going with all of this. Okay, so I'm going to share my sound, and hopefully you're going to hear it this time. Let's see. And the invitation here is to stand up. But I'm gonna ask someone to be my sound person for a moment. And you can let me know if you can hear it.
Yes.
Is it too loud, or is it like?
Sounds good.
Okay. It sounds good. Okay. So we're gonna stand up. I'm gonna have to move my table back. And if you can't stand up, you can do it later. You can do whatever you can do if it's seated. I'm gonna make this a little higher. I think that's good. You can see my little slippers now. All right. So the third ritual that happens every day in my life is one of the embodiment rituals, and it is shaking. Right? There's nothing that brings us more alive than shaking our bodies. So I want you just to start to shake the hands. Yeah, so I want you to shake them side to side. I want you to shake them forward and back, and you might turn the volume up on your music a little bit more. And I want you to unhinge the jaw. I want you to make a little sound even. Yes, and then carry that shake into your forearms. Yes, and then bring the shake into your shoulders. And notice where you're resisting the shake, where you're resisting the flow of life, the flow of power, that kindling of the fires of transformation that call us forth into action. And I want you to shake your chest. I want you to shake your wild heart awake. Oh, yes, Karen. Yes, Brigitte. Yes, Henrietta. All right, whole upper body, belly, chest, shoulders, elbows, wrists. Right before the lower body gets jealous and starts to shake a leg, stand on one leg and just shake it out. From the hip to the knees to the toes, let all those shaking, fleshy bits shake. Release the tension. Maybe make a little sound. Yes, and then the other leg. Shake it out. Let it go. The inertia, the fatigue, the old energy, whatever's left over from 2022, shake it out. Yes. And then let's get the booty. Oh. Yes, the booty. That Muladhara, that root chakra. Let it go. Oh, let it go. And then can you take this shake into the whole body? Maybe the heels lift up and down. You vibrate this energy of earth. You bring it up. You bring it up into the power of your pelvis. You let it ignite into the belly, into the heart, and the whole body shakes. The whole body moves. So maybe your shake turns into a little dance. Yes. A dance of, oh my goddess, I am alive. I get to be in this cosmically divine human form. I can hold the joy and the terror. Last 30 seconds. Last 30 seconds. Really let it go now. Really let it go, let the energy move. Just peeking through to see some of y'all. Keep it going, yes. Make a little sound. Beautiful. this moment to activate, to awaken, to transform and heal. And yet something as silly as you might think this is holds tremendous power. To remember magic, understanding, intention, transformation. Last 10. 5. That's it. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Just ground your feet, soften your eyes. Take your hands out to the sides or palms just up. Close down the eyes if you can. And breathe. And just notice what you notice. Bring your attention to the root chakra, that ruby red light. Picture, imagine, sense of feeling spinning in perfect harmony and aliveness. Energy and attention moves up to sacral center, low belly, low back. That sacral orange. See this wheel spinning in perfect balance, harmony, and emotional flow. To the solar plexus, the fire, the Manipura, the city of jewels, the sun of your body, the light that reflects the soul. See it spinning, feel it, sense it, imagine it in perfect balance and harmony, your own empowerment and transformation. To the heart, that emerald green, see this wheel of love, this balance between giving and receiving, forgiveness, empathy, compassion, beauty, and perfect harmony in connection with divine love. To the throat, the spinning wheel of sky blue light, supporting you, dropping your inhibitions to let your inner wild one out, to speak with clarity and conviction and to express who you are. Feel it spinning in perfect balance, harmony, in resonance with your unique power. To the third eye, and indigo, deep purple light, this wheel spinning open of the imagination, that fresh perspective flooding in right now, flashes of insight and inspiration, of knowingness. See it, feel it, sense it, spinning in perfect balance and harmony. And then to the crown of the head, imagine this rainbow wheel spinning open, this cosmic cord shining up from the crown of the head, connecting you into universal source force that surrounds and unites us all. Remember, reminds us we are one with. See it, feel it, sense it, spinning in perfect balance, harmony, and connection. And then take a deep breath in. Open the mouth and let it go, and then hands come to your heart. And I just ask this question of you: what is it that you really want right now? What is that deepest calling at the center of your chest? What do you want to bring forth into this year from this place of attunement, of alignment, with all 7 cylinders firing, activated? Knowing you have the support of the earth and the sky, the roots and the wings. Nothing is impossible. Expand yourself to hold more, to stretch more, to be more, to love more. And we do this through our commitment to daily ritual practice, where we take these small, steady steps that are sustainable, that create the self-care that ultimately transform our life and who we are, and bring us in attunement and alignment with our soul's calling, our soul's purpose, and what we came here to do. There's no small feat, but it is possible. When you're ready, you can blink the eyes open. Take a deep breath in. Exhale it out. Thank you. Thank you for those of you who had your cameras on that I could see shaking. And I hope for those of you that weren't able to shake that you can find a little moment of shake before the day is over. So in our final 5 minutes, the last thing I want to share with you, and then I'll stay on a few more moments if anyone has any questions, is where we're heading with all of this, which is my next cohort of chakra rituals. 7 weeks to empower and transform and awaken your life, which this cohort is going to begin next Tuesday, right after the turning of, it's perfect alignment, right after the turning of the Lunar New Year that's happening on Sunday. So we're just going to be just cosmically guided by the stars and the moon to support this initiation of moving into this course. And I know several of you on the call right now did the course with me the first time last year. And so I wanted just to quickly speak about how it's different. And then for those of you that are hearing about it for the first time, just so that you know what is all included. So the course is made up of 3 different components. The first component is a weekly live session, similar to what we had today. Each one will be dedicated to a chakra. We will be using my book as the guide. We'll be working through the book as a global community. So we'll offer teachings on the chakras. We'll talk about them in depth. There'll be space for you to ask questions, to share your stories. Those calls will start on next Tuesday, the 24th, and happen weekly at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This will all be in the email, so you don't have to remember all the details. I just wanted you to get an understanding of what it is. And then this is the part that's very different than the last time, is I'm also going to be offering daily, 5 days a week, live sessions, which will actually together go through the micro ritual in the book. So when I mean micro ritual in the book, there are 15 minutes or less. So these will be short sessions. We'll do the ritual. I'll guide you through it. We'll do it together. They will be recorded. If you can't attend live, you will have access to them. And the reason I decided to do this is I wanted to provide you with that slow, steady support to make it sustainable the best I could. And I had people from the last round say, I showed up for every week, for the live call, but I couldn't get myself to do the practices. I couldn't get myself to do more. Is there any way you could help us be more accountable? So this is my way of trying to help you all be more accountable, and we get to do it together. Like I'm going to be actually going through this 7 weeks with you in this way, which is going to be really, really amazing. And those will happen Monday through Friday. So we'll have the weekends off to do whatever we want. And again, if this feels like a lot and it feels overwhelming, no worries. It's all going to be recorded. You go through it at your own pace. All right. So hopefully it's something for everyone. And then the third and final component is that you'll just be reading the chapter of the book, right? And half the chapter is the practices. So it's really just half the chapter of the book. And then the invitation is the book is filled with really deep and profound writing contemplation exercises. So the invitation will you to be to, even if it's just pick one question a day or one question a week that you either write on or you contemplate on, you get to choose that level of engagement. Now, this might be the craziest part. And I've had a lot of people tell me I shouldn't be doing this, but I really wanted to do this as a gift. I really wanted to do this as a gift. And I believe so much in this system, and I believe so much in the power of daily practice that I wanted, for those of you that this is not part of your daily life already, that I wanted to be like, oh my gosh, I can't say no. Okay. Like I can't say no, and really give yourself this chance and seeing if you make this commitment to yourself, what happens in your life over these next 7 weeks. So the course was going to be $444, but I'm selling it for only $108. And that includes all 8 webinars. So there will be 8 because we'll need 1 webinar to set up before we move into the 7 weeks of each chakra. All 35 daily ritual practices that we're going to do together. I'm going to have access to a private Facebook group because to make it, again, really simple, the daily lives that I'm going to do are going to be, I'm just going to go live in our Facebook group. So if you're in the car and you don't have to log into a Zoom link, the webinars will still be on Zoom, but the daily practices are going to be, I'll just be going live on the Facebook Live in our Facebook group. And then that will also, there'll be an opportunity for those who want to participate more, share more there, it's there. Or you guys have questions in between, you can put them there, and then I have them prepared for our next meeting session together. So you have the access to this global community, you have time to ask your questions, share your stories, and it's just $108. And we start a week from tomorrow. So